knew, if you remembered Craig Russell from the day, or Siegel and Schuster, or anyone who was an employee?
I didn't.
Lloyd Jaquette,
I didn't remember Craig, because Vin and Whit were really the next level down, and the ones that I helped mostly. But I got a letter from Joanne Siegel, and she was talking, they said, this is the original Lois Lane, you know, she was Jerry Siegel's wife, right?
Yeah, she's 96 or something.
She's 96,
Yes.
and it's something that's really lovely that her said that she, I'll try to remember the words, I have them written down, just to the effect that Jerry and Joe, Jerry Siegel and Joe Schuster, were so fond of her that they would never be able to accept any negative things said about her. And then she went on to lament that it's a pity that the writers who were writing don't really understand the real facts that say came into that. So all of that stuff really came out after the magazine came out. It was put out very deliberately, and Vin was a very clear, very involved in them putting out. And a lot of the purpose of the biography is to cut through them and to put things back where they were. What I remember the offices themselves very well. On 4th Avenue, high ceilings, big windows, light coming in, a room. They had 2 or 3 desks. I think that the old man and Vin and Whit were there. There's another room that people were in and out of all the time. I was mostly sitting on the drawing board, so it was hard to look. I never got to the office in Lexington. I mean, that was really one of the things. And that was in April, the end of April, 48. And in May, the magazine, the first issue was out in May, and it came out in June 8th. And of course, the owner was involved all the way through, which is not the story yet. Wikipedia said he was long, sorry.
Wait a minute. Wikipedia was wrong?
Yeah.
I thought everything on the internet was right.
Now, your father lived until 1968.
Yes.
Right, as I recall, so 78 years old. So
65.
65? Well, there's another thing that's wrong out there. So
He was 75 back
It
then.
was 65.
you're getting it from the same source that I'm getting.
Okay, well, how's the internment date? Is that okay with everybody?
Well, so 30 years after Action #1 comes out,
Right.
he's out of the company.
That's
Do you
right.
have any later, before I turn it out open to the audience,
Okay.
later recollections of him discussing with you on how he felt about how the company
No.
had transformed itself?
Mark, this is incredible. That after, my memory is very clear, that we were, the discussion that was coming up, and it included Batman, incidentally. We were talking Batman in the end of 37, not only, even though that came out much later, that came out
Well, 39.
39, exactly. So,
Dennis, just don't get away too many
okay, no, this is...
We'll still buy the book.
Anyway, we were talking about the upcoming Superman. I had the original drawings and so forth, right into the spring. That is February, March, April, and so forth. And suddenly discussion stopped. And of course, we were never aware of it stopping. I mean, because you don't talk about it every day, and all of a sudden there were many days of being involved about it. And we went down and we already seen the Russ and so forth. And my brother and I went down to the B&B store on Middle Neck Road, the Great Neck Road, and Great Neck. And there it was, the first edition. Oh, wow, it's out now. Terrific. Went back home and sort of said, oh, it's here. Well, and got this. We never talked about it. Ever. That's it. We never talked about them, except for Mother, who was very good, saying every now and then, should just, gun flipped her car. Oh, she was just bitter. He never said a word. And he never said a bad word. He just said, you know, it's over, done, and he went on with his life. He started to write again, and very successfully, and of course he was a very well-known military analyst. He was in Look magazine and Harper's Magazine, critiquing the war. He wrote 3 books on the war, and they were greatly received. And then he went and became a inventor. And when I got back from the Army during the Korean thing, he wanted some help, and I was working with him during that time. At no time ever from April 1938 until he died did I ever talk with him about the conference.
As I turn now to questions, can you just mention your website, the name of the website, the address, and what's on it?
It's Major Malcolm Wheeler-Nicholson.com. There's a blog attached to it. And we also have a CD that is, it's a story called The Road Without Turning. It was one of my grandfather's wonderful pulp stories that was reprinted many times. It's a really good one. And I don't know if you guys know the artist Howard Cruz, wonderful comic artist. He used to do comics for the Village Voice, and he did a fabulous graphic novel back in 1995 that was published by DC called Stuck Rubber Baby. And yeah,
Absolutely.
and he did the portrait on the cover.
Also did this on Justice.
Yeah.
A lot of people are doing that.
Yeah, and he's an old friend of mine, and then the wonderful Caleb Carr, the author of The Alienist, among other things, wrote an incredible liner notes. So we hope you'll. And it was read by. And it was read by.
And I married him. It was a very neat